John Beckman with Brad Soner in Stillwater, Minnesota. And Brad, we had a tumultuous conclusion to our 5-day women's battle.
Yeah, today on the final day, it was Krista McGrath of XRG 2012 that took off early. Unfortunately, an untimely mechanical on Chilkoot Hill took McGrath out of the running on the front. It would be a counterattack from Tibco's Megan Garnier that would stay away for the rest of the day as Garnier held on to get the stage win.
Megan Garnier!
I ended up off the front by myself for a way long time, and today we were hoping for another aggressive day, but then it was a couple solo breaks, and then I was solo, and I had to keep going.
Garnier's breakaway would make her cinch for the Freewheel Bike's most aggressive riders jersey.
Optum's Carmen Small would stay in yellow to win the Nature Valley Grand Prix.
I owe it all to the girls. Great job, Anna. They rode an amazing race. I couldn't have done it without them. They won the race, really. I just had to kind of be there.
Now in the men's contest, our final stage was won by a new name, but the yellow jersey went to a familiar face.
Yeah, it was Christian Helmig of Elbows Racing who moved off the front late in the race to get into a breakaway. He would stay away to win the stage with his teammate Eric Marcotte coming across the line in second. Tyler Wren of Janice Sutter Home was on the podium in third.
This Nature Valley Grand Prix really suits our team, and we had a good ride yesterday with Heath being in the break, and yeah, we definitely had this one targeted, so really happy that it all worked out.
It was Mike Olheiser initiating the first breakaway of the day for the competitive cyclist team. We would see a lot of riders come out of the field to join him, and in the end, they would win out of that breakaway. Olheiser earns the Freewheel Bike Most Aggressive Riders jersey for his initial attack on today's course.
I knew we had it wrapped up as long as we stayed upright, so there was no risk taking on the last couple of laps, and you know the team was awesome. You know, just basically delivered me to the win, so it's definitely a good feeling.
Tom Zerbel stays in the yellow race leader's jersey. XRG's Carlos Alzate is our blue XRG Sprint winner. Colton Hartrick is in the Nature Valley Green Amateurs jersey for the Athletics Benefiting Global Bike Team, and Ty Magner of BMC Hincapie Development in the Tria Orthopedics Best Young Riders jersey.
Well, Brad, one stage canceled due to storms did not dampen the spirits of anyone, especially not the riders, who had a great 2012 Nature Valley Grand Prix.
Yeah, great race coming down to the overall here on the final day in Stillwater as we saw fireworks here on Chilkoot Hill. So a great week of racing here in 2012 as we look ahead to 2013 at the Nature Valley Grand Prix.
John Beckman here with Brad Soner, and we are at Stage 4 of the 2012 Nature Valley Grand Prix, the Uptown Minneapolis Criterium. And Brad, after the Cannon Falls Road Race was stormed out, completely canceled, these riders were hot to go.
Yeah, it was a fast, flat course, and Megan Garnier of Team Tibco got it started early as she took an early race flyer. She would eventually be brought back, but it would earn her the Freewheel Bike's Most Aggressive Riders jersey. It all came down to a field sprint as XRG 2012 perfectly set up the repeat for Teresa Cliff Ryan, who is our winner in St. Paul on Wednesday, as she gets 2 stage wins here at the Nature Valley Grand Prix.
Girls felt the panic in the field, and they gathered, and we got to the front with 3 to go, and they strung it out. So I was out of the cluster that had it strung out and going so fast that no one could pass me.
And Carmen Small of Kelly Benefit Strategies took third, just as she did in St. Paul, to stay in the Nature Valley Yellow Race Leaders jersey. And Brad, what a battle it was in the men's race. Last year's champion, Jesse Anthony of Optum Kelly Benefit Strategies, managed to form a good break on his second try, being eventually joined by teammate Mike Creed, also Jelly Belly's Ricardo Vandevelde, and Exergy's Carlos Alzati. They had as much as 25 seconds.
Well, they stayed away as long as they could, but the Kenda 5-Hour Energy team would eventually bring them back, working for their yellow jersey, John Murphy, as they tried to defend that. They shut it down in the final few laps, and it would come down to a field sprint as Jelly Belly Kenda speedster Brad Huff got the win.
These Nature Valley Grand Prix crits are just intense. They're technical, and even though you're sitting in, you're putting out a lot of effort just to stay in position. You know, and no matter if you get comfortable at 10th spot, you're going to lose it in a lap, because everybody wants to be at the front, and these races are so aggressive. I'm just luckily I have some great teammates.
Scott Swazonski of Optum, presented by Kelly Benefit Strategies, stays in the Sport Beans King of the Hill competition, and Jesse Anthony takes home the Freewheel Bike Most Aggressive Riders jersey for his daring breakaway. So 83 miles on tap for the women tomorrow, 100 miles on tap for the men as we head to Menominee, Wisconsin for Stage 5 of the Nature Valley Grand Prix.
John Beckman with Brad Soner here, Day 1, Stage 2 of the 2012 Nature Valley Grand Prix. The St. Paul Downtown Criterium. We start with the women who put on an amazing show of strength. Lauren Aroni, a Specialized Lululemon, earns the Freewheel Bike's most aggressive rider jersey for a long solo breakaway. But Brad, the pack fought back.
Yeah, in the end, it wouldn't be enough for Roney, who was reeled back in by the powerful train of Optum presented by Kelly Benefit Strategies as they sent all their riders to the front to drive back that breakaway of the Specialized Lululemon rider, Lauren Roney. They would close down the gap as Roney was caught in the final few laps. That set up a field sprint, but it wouldn't be enough for Optum to get on the top step of the podium as it was Exergy 2012's Teresa Cliff Ryan who rockets to a stage win here in St. Paul.
We were riding for a sprint. We knew we had a good shot to take the stage and then also protect Jackie's second place overall. So we were happy for it coming down to a sprint. And when we got there, the girls did a perfect job. They kept it strung out, so I didn't have to fight for position. All I had to do was concentrate on my jump.
Optum would be on the podium with Leah Kirschman in second and Carmen Small in your yellow race leader's jersey in third on the podium.
Now in the men's race here in St. Paul, a field sprint by design. Optum Kelly Benefit Strategies goes to the front to protect Tom Zerbel's lead. They didn't want to break away going off the front, gaining too many seconds. But John Murphy in second place by only 4 seconds for Kenda put those plans to rest as he wins a mid-race time bonus preem worth 5 seconds. He takes the lead by 1 second.
We just showed today that we're here to win the overall. We had 3 guys in the top 10 in the time trial, so we have many cards to play for the week to come, and we're happy to. Whenever we take the jersey, we take it.
In the field sprint, it would be Carlos Alzate of Exergy who got the field sprint out of the group after Optum worked all day to keep that race together. Exergy cashes in on that move with Alzate on the top step of the podium.
And so next up, the Cannon Falls Road Race, 73 miles and a hilly one at that. And that is going to challenge our GC riders tomorrow.
It's been a great weekend of hot racing here at the National Sports Center Velodrome in the Minnesota Fixed Gear Classic for 2012. A star-studded international field of racers contested this kickoff to the Nature Valley Bicycle Festival here in Blaine, Minnesota. Our winners on the Women's Endurance Omnium was Carrie Higgins from Exergy 2012. Franco Marvulli took the Men's Endurance Omnium. Jonathan Fraley from Serenity Bikes took the Sprint Omnium for the men, and Taylor Crane of Broadmark Capital took the Women's Sprint Omnium.
It was a up and down weekend. I think consistency paid off. I was up there for all the races. The girls were definitely really strong competitors. I was a little nervous.
On the men's side, Franco Marvulli won his second straight Minnesota Fixed Gear Classic, narrowly defeating Leon Van Bon and Jean-Michel Lachance in the final Madison. That Madison was a close, fast race and had a number of attacks throughout the event. Marvulli and his teammate Zach Kowalczyk took early points, making sure that they stayed away from the field as much as possible so that they could get their win early and out of the way. Racing in the Men's Endurance Omnium was fast and furious all weekend, as speeds averaged 30 miles an hour for most of the races.
The level, of course, of the riders was higher, more balanced. There was more riders you had to look for. And as a defending champion, it's always difficult because everybody expects you to win, and it's not going to be easier. So everybody follows you, tries to follow your race, and it was tough, but I made it, and I'm happy.
As they come down the home straight. On the Women's Endurance Omnium side, Carrie Higgins won her third title here at the Minnesota Fixed Gear Classic. She led from the front in just about every race she entered.
I love this track. I can't say it enough, and I'm really sincere when I say it. I've traveled all over the world. This track is very special. It's for an outdoor wood 250. It's very special to race on this track.
On the men's sprint side, again, fast and furious racing dictated play throughout the weekend. Jonathan Fraley of Serenity Bikes was in first place throughout the weekend. His silver medal in the match sprint was just by a wheel width as he lost to his student Danny Robertson in a photo finish in the third ride.
I didn't think he had anything left. He really didn't. He threw the bike a lot harder than me, and I was kind of almost into celebratory mode already. And so the student teaches the master to never always take it to the end and finish like you should.
That's it. It's been a great weekend of hot racing here at the Minnesota Fixed Gear Classic from the National Sports Center Velodrome. Stay tuned for the Nature Valley Grand Prix starting Wednesday, June 13th.